Listen. I am here and I am not late. I have walked the perimeter of your days and I have read the faint ink of your nights, and I am placing my hand on the doorframe of the place you call home. Be careful. The house you are staying in is not safe. Do not mistake the quiet for peace or the familiar for protection. Within these walls, something has nested that does not love you, that does not pray for you, that does not celebrate your breath. Inside there is a whisper that grew teeth, a comfort that grew chains, a shadow that learned your schedule and studied the soft places where you rest. I am exposing it now. I am calling it out with light that does not blink. I am not here to frighten you, I am here to deliver you. Do not try to skip this. Your spirit already felt the tremor and your body already recognized the draft that never had a source. The unease you named coincidence carries a shape. I am naming it. I am canceling it. I am preparing you to walk out of it. When you lie down, the house holds its breath and pretends to sleep, but watch how the air changes in the corridor when hope arrives in your chest. The unseen thing disapproves of your hope. It prefers your routine, your resignation, your steady acceptance that this is all there is. Inside there is a ledger someone else began to write for you, a tally of small losses and almosts, a file of delays that seemed harmless because each delay only stole a day. Count them and you will see a pattern written by a hand that is not mine. The threshold kept you and the ceiling lowered itself until your dreams learned to crouch. I am raising that ceiling with a word. I am unsealing the window that has not opened since the year you stopped speaking about your future with fire. This is intervention. This is the disruption that carries love in its thunder. There is a name spoken in that house when you are not listening. It is your name, pinched and twisted into worry, kneaded into dread. It is your name threaded into plans that pretend to help you while building rooms that keep you smaller than your calling. Inside there is a chair shaped like regret and it invited you many times to sit and rewatch your old mistakes. You sat, and you wept, and you thought that weeping was worship. I counted your tears with tenderness, but I did not build you a shrine of sorrow to live in. I built you a path. The house put your tears in jars and wore them as decorations to prove it understood you. It understood how to keep you, not how to free you. I am not decorating pain. I am dismantling the stage where pain performs. Be careful of soft voices that arrive when you are tired. Be careful of favors that cost your courage. Be careful of agreements you never signed but somehow obey. Inside there is a script, and you are cast in the role of the one who almost leaves. I am tearing that script tonight. Inside there is an echo that says change is disloyalty, that movement is betrayal, that leaving is announcing failure. That echo never came from me. My breath is change. My call is movement. My grace is the sound of hinges loosening from doors that were installed by fear. When I say out, I do not mean into chaos, I mean into promise measured and prepared, into shelter whose corners have been prayed over, into foundations that do not bargain with the wind. This is how you know I am speaking. The room where you felt most alone will suddenly feel like a hallway, and a hallway leads somewhere. Your memories will stop looping and start pointing. The object you misplaced but never needed will remain lost, and the truth you misplaced but always needed will knock and come in without apology. You will recognize me because I do not negotiate with what diminishes you. I do not ask permission from the house to carry you through its front door. I do not need your captor's blessing to bless you. You do not need a committee to approve your freedom. You need breath, and I am breath, and I am filling you until you choose the door that already began to open. Inside there is an old promise you shelved because the roof leaked and the floor sighed and the days repeated themselves like an oath spoken to sameness. You told yourself that someday you would honor that promise again. Someday became a neighbor and set up a permanent bed in the spare room. You began to call that neighbor wisdom. Wisdom does not keep you in a hallway forever. Wisdom packs, locks, blesses the ground it leaves, and moves. I am sending you wisdom that walks, not wisdom that lounges. I am sending you a map that reads like a prayer. The first instruction is simple: believe the warning. The second instruction: prepare your feet. Be careful of the object tucked where no one looks. Be careful of the gift that was actually a leash. Be careful of the framed words that never agreed with your soul but hung at eye level until you agreed to disagree with yourself. Inside there is a drawer, and inside the drawer there are tokens from seasons you survived but never buried. They hum at night. They hum slowly enough that you call it house noise. Today I am silencing their hum. Today I am removing the batteries from every ritual that kept you circling the same four corners. Today I am unfolding a rug you have never stood on, and on that rug is written the next city, the next room, the next name you will answer to. The name is not frightened. The name is not late. The name is not almost. It is established. It is yours. Do not try to skip this. Skipping will not make the truth smaller. Skipping will only make you later to the celebration already baking in the new kitchen I chose for you. There is bread rising there, the bread of new habits that do not choke you, the bread of laughter that does not apologize. In the unsafe house, laughter apologized for existing. It whispered. It kept time with the footsteps of worry. The laughter I am giving you now is sturdy. It knows the address of joy by memory. It does not ask for permission to fill the room. It will be loud and holy, and people will say they have not heard you sound like this since you were young enough to sing and careless enough to believe that singing mattered. Singing still matters. It will lead you out like a psalm on wheels. Inside there is a voice that calls itself reason but is fueled by someone else's fear. That voice belongs to the architect of smallness. It will offer you one more concession, one more compromise, one more winter inside a place with summer painted on the walls. It will say, "Stay until you are stronger." I am saying, leave so that you get stronger. Muscles do not grow under ceilings that weigh them down. Courage does not flourish in rooms that charge rent for sunlight. I am opening the window of today and unbolting the hour. Look at the trees outside the thought you've been living in. They are not a wallpaper. They are an invitation. Walk toward the sound of leaves giving permission to the wind. You felt the strange heaviness in the corner near the door. You noticed how plants protested and how keys went missing when you decided to meet Hope for coffee. You saw how guests brought laughter and left quieter than when they arrived, like something had counted their smiles and taxed them. You wondered if this was your imagination. Your imagination is not your enemy. It tried to draw you a map without ink. I am bringing the ink. I am writing, exit here. I am writing, follow the promise that keeps knocking. I am writing, you are not a tenant of fear, you are a citizen of grace, and grace has borders that unsafe houses cannot cross without turning into blessing. Inside there is a secret that grew up in the dark. The secret is this: somewhere in the structure, someone placed an agreement that your life would be a waiting room. The furniture learned your posture. The walls memorized your calendar and rehearsed it back to you each month. The secret is not yours to keep. It is mine to expose and cancel. I am the unwriter of forged documents. I am the fire that understands how to burn tape but preserve timelines. I am setting flame to the false contracts. Listen for the crackle. It is not destruction, it is the sound of a future opening its arms without metal in the embrace. I am not sending you out empty. I am putting keys in your hand that fit doors you have not seen yet. I am packing your name with favor the same way morning packs light into a sky that thought the night had the final word. Favor will meet you at the new threshold and say, I have been standing here with patience, welcome. Provision will carry the boxes you cannot lift. Peace will label them. Joy will drive the vehicle. Wisdom will read the map. Love will lock the old door and tuck the key where only memory can reach it, and memory will keep it not as a path back but as a testimony forward. Be careful whom you inform before you move. Not every ear can hold a plan without weighing it. Not every friend wishes your windows to face the sunrise. Some admire you most when you are manageable. Some pray prayers that sound kind but sign your future with small ink. I am sending you one confirmation in the coming hours that is impossible to arrange by human hands. It will arrive like a sentence you needed but did not request. It will stand up in the center of your doubt and announce itself. When you hear it, know that I am not merely calling you out of a place, I am calling you into a life that does not apologize for being blessed. Inside there is fatigue that pretends to be furniture. You navigate around it and call it responsibility. I am removing that furniture. The room will look bare for a moment. Do not call the bareness lack. Call it preparation. Rooms do not complain when old couches are carried away. Rooms anticipate what will arrive, and so will your days. The bareness is not abandonment. It is me pointing at the floor and saying, "This is where the table of new conversations will stand. This is where rest will learn your name again without needing to wrestle to be believed. This is where you will place the things you write when you stop editing your vision to fit into the old entryway. You will remember to breathe without bargaining. You will wake without the house counting your strength and charging interest. You will notice how the new walls sound different when laughter touches them. You will notice how sleep stops apologizing. You will notice how your reflection grows more honest when the mirror is not afraid of light. The unsafe house taught your reflection to look like survival. The new place will teach your reflection to look like promise. Survival is not your only song. I am composing verses where you dance without checking if the floor approves. The floor will approve because I chose it and I do not choose what rejects my beloved. Do not try to skip this. Skipping is what the old pattern taught you to do when love asked for courage. You are not late. You are right on time to your own exodus, and I am the pillar that moves first and makes a way in places that never hosted roads. Where there was a wall, there will be a way. Where there was a rumor, there will be a report of wonders. Where there was suspicion, there will be a signature of peace that cannot be counterfeited. Gather your essential things, your name, your faith, your yes. I will gather the remaining details and set them in order. The move will not devour you. It will deliver you. The goodbye will not be a wound, it will be a seal. Inside there is a small altar built to the God of almost. It collected your near misses and called them proof that you were not meant to cross over. That altar is toppled. I am raising a memorial of completion where you will write dates that astonish even your quietest self. You will celebrate not just survival but fulfillment. You will touch the promises you used to talk about like folklore. You will learn to live in rooms you thought belonged to other names. The landlord of that belief has been evicted. Ownership is approaching you with documents that carry my watermark. The watermark is visible in joy, in clarity, in strength that returns without demanding that you perform for it. The house you are staying in is not safe because it taught you to mistrust what loves you. It taught you to argue with miracles. It taught you to shrink when blessings approached like guests. It trained your door to jam when honor knocked. Inside there is a habit of self-interruption. I am breaking that habit. I am placing your hand on the handle and I am teaching you how to open without apologizing. The world outside this address is not against you. The path is not an enemy. The next season is not a trick. The peace you longed for did not forget you, it waited for your yes to leave what it could not enter. Peace does not share rent with fear. Peace signs new leases in your name and invites you to decorate with bold colors that your old heart avoided. I have already gone ahead. I have stood in the doorway of the place that will cradle your purpose without squeezing it. I have tuned the rooms to your frequency so your prayers will not fight static. I have spoken to the neighbors who will speak life back to you. I have hired tomorrow to build you a porch where you will tell the story of how you left a house that looked like safety but was nesting sorrow in the vents. The story will not humiliate you. It will crown you. You will say, "The warning came like a bell, and I answered it, and I walked out, and I did not look back for permission to rejoice." Do not try to skip this. Let the word stay with you while you pack courage into your pockets. Walk through each room with gratitude for what you learned and firmness about what you will no longer host. Bless what carried you and release what buried you. Speak aloud if you must. Tell the walls they no longer have authority to narrate your endings. Tell the floors they no longer get to measure your steps and call them insufficient. Tell the mirrors they will reflect victory now. Tell the doors they will not close against you again. Then turn the handle and open. I am waiting on the other side, not with a test, not with a trap, but with a table. Inside there is nothing left that can own you. Only souvenirs of a season the wind has begun to erase. Let the wind work. Let love insist. Let the future do what futures do when faith signs for the package at the door. This is that moment. This is that signature. This is that door. Be careful where you remain. Be bold where you go. I am with you in the leaving, and I am with you in the arriving, and I am with you in the setting down of new rugs on new floors where laughter does not whisper and hope does not ask for a receipt. Step. Breathe. Believe. Walk out. And when you sleep tonight, you will not count threats. You will count promises, and you will not run out. I am the one who sees what is hidden and names what cannot be spoken aloud, and I am speaking to you now because I love you beyond the measurement of any hour or season, and because love warns before it rescues and rescues after it warns. Do not try to skip this. Let your heart sit up and listen. The house you are staying in is not safe the way you imagine, for inside there is something that smiles with false light, something that whispers to your fatigue, something that waits for your guard to drop. But you are not alone in that house. I am in the doorway and in the window and in the hallway where shadows stack like folded cloth. I am the breath that will not let you fall asleep to danger. I am the soft thunder moving through your chest even now, the holy insistence that says, "Rise, my beloved." Do not try to skip this. I have watched you make a home out of battles, lay your head on a pillow of compromises, and call it peace because you were exhausted. You closed certain doors because the knocking would not stop. You told yourself, "This is normal," while your soul shook its head. Hear me, what you normalize will eventually name you, and I have not called you by the name of fear. I have named you kept, guarded, chosen, taught, and delivered. I am speaking because the air has been heavy with words that were never meant to live inside your walls, and because something that grew in the corners has begun to reach for your sleep. Do not try to skip this. Inside that house there are old agreements that were signed in silence. They were not written on paper, but they were written all the same, lines your heart accepted in weary moments, contracts with accusation, treaties with delay, handshakes with shame, the soft signatures of "maybe later" and "this is all I deserve." Inside there is an echo that repeats what hurt people once said to you, and the echo tries to wear your voice like a mask. Inside there is clutter that looks harmless but carries the memory of seasons where you stopped expecting goodness. Inside there are whispers that call themselves practical, but they are only paralysis with better clothes on. I am not condemning you, I am uncovering what has disguised itself as harmless. I do not expose you, I expose the thing that has been trying to shrink you. Do not try to skip this. When I say the house is not safe, I do not mean that my arm is short, I mean that your agreement with the wrong shelter ends tonight. The threshold that lets certain storms in is being sealed. The windows that admired what should have been rebuked are being set with a new clarity. The staircase that always seemed to lead you down will now carry your steps up. But before newness, there must be naming, and I am naming what has hidden. Do not try to skip this. There is a pattern that comes like a visitor. It does not knock loudly, it slides in when you are distracted, and it rearranges furniture in your mind, pushing hope against the wall, putting fear in the center, pulling the carpet of confidence so that you stumble over yesterday. This pattern collects late-night thoughts like a landlord collecting rent. It tells you, you are behind, you are forgotten, you are replaceable. It is a liar. I am the landlord of your breath, the author of your seasons, the keeper of your calendar, the one who counts your steps and calls every step purposeful. I am entering the room where that pattern keeps its ledger, and I am tearing the pages that pretend to own you. Do not try to skip this. Tonight I put my hand on the thermostat of your atmosphere. The heat that made you agitated but not awake will be adjusted. The cold that made you numb but not calm will be told to leave. The balance you begged for will stop being a rumor and start being your climate. This is happening because I have ordained that you will inhabit wholeness, not just visit it on your best days. Inside that house a voice once got the last word. It quoted your past as evidence and your mistakes as prophecy. It used delay as proof that I had delayed you in punishment, when in truth I was timing your emergence for fullness, for safety, for testimony. That voice borrowed your own tone and spoke back to you in your mirror, telling you you were almost enough, almost loved, almost there. Almost is the cage of the weary. I did not bring you this far to house you in almost. I am not the God of nearly. I am the God of completion, and I am here to complete what began at your first yes, the day you dared to hope for a life that did not require you to apologize for being alive. Do not try to skip this. I am laying my hand upon the front door of your heart and writing these words across it: no trespassing for shame, no leasing space to fear, no subletting to despair, no welcome for confusion. Your heart is not a storage unit for other people's storms. Your memory is not a museum for failures. Your imagination is not a junkyard for unfinished promises. It is a greenhouse for faith. I am repairing the glass. Be careful with who carries keys to your inner rooms. Some smiles are invitations into rooms you already outgrew. Some conversations look like hospitality but end in eviction, your peace pushed to the curb while you carry in someone else's chaos. I am not asking you to be suspicious, I am teaching you to be discerning. Discernment is love that learned to tell time. It knows when to open the door with bread and when to close it with blessing. It knows when to seat a guest at your table and when to greet them at the porch with truth. Do not try to skip this. You own no one access to what I healed at great cost. Love your enemies, but do not lease to them. Pray for those who misunderstand you, but do not hire them to manage your joy. Forgive freely, but do not furnish rooms to the accusations they traveled with. Put kindness on every doorknob and wisdom on every hinge. In this way, your house learns to agree with heaven. There are objects in your space that carry a story you no longer need to keep replaying. There is a corner where procrastination nests, promising you that tomorrow will have more power than today. There is a drawer where old messages sleep, and every time you open it your present feels like an intruder. There is a chair where you sit and dream small because big feels expensive and you've been saving to survive. I am the God who provides in layers, daily bread and long harvest, water from a rock and rivers in a desert, manna and promised land. Let me walk with you room by room. Do not try to skip this. Together we will pick up what still carries life and release what carries only weight. Together we will open the windows and invite in the air of better language. I am wanted by heaven. I am planted, not parked. I am learning, not failing. I am guarded, not cornered. I am chosen, not tolerated. Together we will set alarms for the hours when apathy used to visit, and when it knocks we will answer with purpose. I am sending a stillness into your rooms that is not silence, it is strategy. In that stillness you will hear me say simple instructions that feel like stones in a river, stable, sure, designed to lead you across. Check again the things you dismissed. Bring light to the spaces you only tidy when guests come. Whisper my name in the hallway where arguments tend to echo after everyone falls silent. Put gratitude like a lamp on the nightstand, so that if fear tries to stand beside your bed, it has to stand in the light. Do not try to skip this. Your house will learn a new sound, the sound of laughter returning without apology, the sound of doors closing softly on cycles that used to slam, the sound of honest conversation that does not bruise, the sound of music that does not numb but nourishes, the sound of you praying without a stopwatch, the sound of you resting without guilt. I delight in those sounds.